one of the things that I get asked really commonly about is the HK carry comps. You see other industry platforms, other manufacturers, firearms having cross compatibility with slides and frames in a way in which you can put a compact slide on a full-size frame, which extends the dust cover out, and then you put a threaded barrel in and you put a comp on and you have that carry comp look. And you know, we can get into whether or not that's just a style thing or whether or not there's actually some practical benefit to that in a different video. But just as a little tip, trick type of a thing here, there's a couple things I want to say about that.
Okay, so what do you need?
Guns. Lots of guns.
No one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.
I get asked this question a lot, so I feel like this is a good thing I could add to this video. So most HK handguns are not cross-compatible between their compact versions. Most of them. There's not very many that are cross-compatible. There's a few. There's one that I'm going to show you today, and there's two that I'm going to show you that are not, that have been done. And to my knowledge, I think are the only two that exist. One of them I think is the only one that exists in the world that anybody's ever done. Not to say that anybody couldn't do it, but it's just a very non-trivial, complicated gunsmithing task that you have to have a good understanding to do. So that first one is going to be the VP9 SK full-size frame with the SK slide. And I'm sure anybody that follows me on my pages have seen this gun in videos, and it is a fantastic gun. It runs flawlessly, and it has that extended dust cover with that tucked comp look for that carry comp style. I love this gun. It runs fantastic. It is absolutely not something that you can do without high-end custom gunsmithing and modifications too. So do I recommend someone attempt this? Not at all. I highly doubt that most average people without some very specific knowledge in HK would be able to achieve it. I'm sure, I know there's people out there that can. Whether or not they want to or not is a different story. I wanted to, and I did it. And here's one that I can show you. So there's that one. Another one that I've done is the P2000 SK slide on the full-size P2000 frame. And this one is, again, you know, very unique, very non-trivial gunsmithing. Requires a lot of knowledge and extensive experience in HK pistols to make function properly and still be safe, reliable, durable, and function properly. This one does. This one is fantastic. It runs great. It is definitely not an easy thing to do. However, there is one that is easy. So we have a P30L. This one happens to be a P30LS. And we have your standard P30. This one happens to have one of our prototype triggers and one of our new prototype hammers, which I'm sure you've probably seen as well on our channels. So in just a quick moment here, I'm going to show you something that you can do. The only difficulty in this is that trying to find a P30 slide for sale by itself is pretty difficult. So you might get lucky and find one on Gunbroker, but you're probably going to have to buy two guns or already have a few guns, you know, to start with to be able to do this. I'm doing this while we're talking, and literally just in that short amount of time have taken that P30 LS frame and turned it into a carry comp with a standard length P30 slide with a Parker Mountain machine comp. So just so my customers know, I get that question a lot. Is that possible? Well, you just saw me do it. Does it work? Yes, it does. Absolutely works just fine. And you can do it, but you need two guns, or you need to be lucky enough to find a slide. That's just one tip and trick. I got a whole bunch more, guys. Stick with me. So I really want to thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate the view. I really appreciate it if you subscribe, if you're interested in the content and what's coming. I've got a lot of neat stuff I want to talk about. I think the next video that I want to do is going to be a deep dive into LEM and what that is. There are some really good videos out there that describe what the LEM system is. One of them being done by Sean Burrows, good friend of mine, and he made a video on his channel. If you type into YouTube, Sean Burrows LEM, you're gonna see examples of my work that I've done for him on his competition HK pistols back when he was sponsored by HK. And you're gonna hear him give a pretty good explanation about what that LEM system is. But I think there's even still room. I still get a lot of questions from customers, and I still see a lot of confusion from customers about what the LEM system actually is and how it functions. And it's probably the single most innovative trigger system, in my opinion, to come out of the firearms industry in a really long time. It is safe and durable and reliable and extremely well thought out system, and it stands for law enforcement modification. There are other companies that have tried to innovate on your standard, you've got your DASA, SAO, DAO, striker fired. You have these different styles of triggers, and then you've got companies that are trying to innovate, which is fantastic. SIG came out with the DAK, double action Kellerman, which is essentially a short reset double action only. I feel like that kind of fell on its face a little bit, just because the DAO itself is something that, just didn't end up having a lot of popularity. You saw the P250 come out before the 320. It was a DAO version of the 320, and you don't see those anymore. There's a reason. But the LEM system itself is really unique and interesting, and I actually love the LEM system. I have a lot of my personal HK hammer-fired guns are set up with the LEM, and I have some that are hybrid, conversions from DASA to LEM, and there's a lot of interesting nuances to those variants, to those LEM variants, and just fundamentally how that system works. And I get this question a lot, and I feel like I say the same things over and over again. I've gotten really good at explaining what the LEM system is, how it works, and how you run it. And once a person understands that, then a light bulb switches on, and then the first time they get to use an LEM system with that understanding, they're like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And then you see that you can't find the LEM conversion parts for sale on a lot of websites because they get sold out so fast. But I do think that it's the next video is going to be LEM. We're going to get into all things LEM, V0 spurred, V4.1, standard LEM, how you can do hybrid conversions of these things between the P30 and P2000 and their family of pistols versus the differences in what we can do with hybrid conversions with LEM when we're talking about USP and HK45. I want to show you how the system works and explain it, and explain how the action work that I do here at Lazy Wolf Guns enhances the features of the LEM in such a way that make them noticeable and then really usable. And just as a side note to that, most people that have run an LEM P30 or P2000, they know how long the reset is. So if you look at someone shooting a bone stock P30 or P2000 that's an LEM variant, it's going to look like a double action only. And a lot of people confuse it with a quasi double action only because your trigger finger is coming out almost all the way forward in the trigger guard before the trigger reconnects. And then you have all this reuptake travel back up to the pressure wall of the sear. So there's a whole bunch of excessive motion happening in that gun. And I want to get into the explanation behind that so that you can understand not only how that system works, why it's really cool and innovative, and how our action work and certain components, certain combinations of things based on customers' preference can be absolutely amazing. So that's going to be in the next video, I think. Please, if you like the video, subscribe, send me a note, let me know if you have any ideas for future videos. And otherwise, I appreciate the view. Take care.